Hey everybody, Matt from 90th percentile.ca here. For access to more study notes, practice questions, mock exams, and end of chapter question videos, visit 90th percentile.ca and sign up for your free trial today. Link below in the description. Moving on, now we're talking about business models and risks. Once again, kind of a short module, really qualitative in nature, but we'll go through it and make sure we understand it. Key two topics are business models and risks. So we'll talk about the different components of a business model and outline the key components that the CFA Institute outlines in the curriculum. And then we'll also be given some scenarios and we'll be asked to identify types of risks that companies face. So we could be talking about, macro risk, industry risk, foreign exchange risk, all of that. And we'll just need to know the definitions of each of them and be able to apply them in an example. And then at the very end, we're going to talk about leverage. The whole idea of leverage goes into a little bit more detail in the coming modules, but we're just giving, a quick overview of what operating leverage and financial leverage is. And we'll be asked, given some changes in a company's pricing or cost base, whether or not that is going to impact its operating leverage. And then on the flip side, whether, um, you know, any changes in its capital structure will impact its financial leverage. So we'll just jump right into the questions. Which of the following is least likely to be a key feature of a business model? Well, the curriculum outlines these six aspects of a business model. I don't think you have to memorize them, but nonetheless, it's good to know and keep in the back of your mind. First is a target customer, so who you're going to target. Second is a firm offering, so what you're offering, whether it's a product or a service. Three is this your sales channel, so where you're going to sell. It could be, online, retail, whatever. Four is your pricing strategy. Five, which kind of combines everything above, is your value proposition. And I like to think of it as your why customers would choose you. And then last is your organization structure and capabilities. So how you're actually going to deliver it, what processes you have in place, your employees, etc. So coming back, which of the following is least likely to be a key feature of a business model? Is it unit economics? No, this is a part of your pricing. So your channel strategy? Nope, that's number three right there. Um, is it your financial forecasts? We'll get back to that one. Um, your customer cost of ownership, once again, kind of goes back into pricing. And target customer identification, that's right up here, so that's not it either. Financial forecasts technically aren't part of a business model. Um, Business models, the way they think of it is it's more focused on delivery and how you're actually going to execute, whereas your financial forecast is more of a, you know, your outlook and your plan, etc., which is a little bit different than a business model and how you actually execute. Which of the following businesses is least likely to have network effects? So what is a network effect? It's basically when a network or a product or a service or a company gains value with more people. So more users, um, more engagement, etc. It drives value. Like if you think of um, WhatsApp is a pretty good example. Like would anyone use WhatsApp if there was no one you could talk to? Like there was no one else using it? Like no, you wouldn't use it. Would anyone use social media if you're the only one posting? No, you wouldn't use it either. So it, like I said, the product or service add value, or in the extreme, they wouldn't even be used if there weren't a lot of people using it. So, which of the following is least likely to have network effects? A stock exchange? No, you need a bunch of buyers and sellers to make the exchange efficient and actually, viable. Telephone company, that kind of goes back to what I said about WhatsApp. So that's not the answer either. A classified advertising website? No, this is, the websites where people post ads to either buy or sell something. So you need, once again, a market with a lot of people. A price comparison website for travel airfares? No, because that's, they're comparing prices across a bunch of different websites or, travel agents, whatever. So they need the network effect to have effective price comparisons. And then finally, a resume preparation service for online job seekers. So this is least likely to have network effects. And the reason why is because you actually need someone here to create the resumes. So someone actually has to like provide the services on an automated thing. So the the ability to scale this business would be directly proportional to the ability to hire people, and that's kind of the same with any professional services business. It's scalable to the extent that you can hire. Which of the following statements is not representative of unit costs? A, unit costs generally exclude labor costs. Well, no, that's incorrect. So that's going to be your answer. Unit costs include any direct cost associated with either a product or a service. Um, it doesn't include any overhead. Like everything of an income statement here, we're purely worried about cost of goods sold and gross profit. Um, so if you're selling a product, it would you would typically include like shipping, raw materials prices, and any wages like labor you have to pay to um, get the product actually ready for sale, stuff like that. We're not worried about any overhead, so like no rent, no finance employees, no whatever, no fixed costs, just direct variable costs associated with the product. And then if you're on the flip side, if you're worried about a service, let's say I have a consulting business, the unit costs associated with delivering my consulting work would be, if I have two employees under me, it would be their hourly rate versus, you know, their revenue would be the rate that I charge the client. So their hourly rate would be my unit cost. We can keep going down the list though. So we're looking at we're looking for what's not representative. So the rest are going to be true. Business models generally consider unit costs. Yes, that's true. Unit costs are used to calculate break-even points. Yes. If a lemonade stand uses 5 cents worth of lemons, 2 cents worth of sugar, and a cup costing 3 cents, that's a unit cost of 10 cents. Yes. You could also toss in labor here as well. Um, but, they didn't get that information here. Which of the following companies would most likely have a high level of macro risk? A coffee plantation in Brazil, B, a Swedish mining equipment manufacturer, or C, a call center outsourcing business based in India? Um, I mean, this is why they said most likely, right? Because all of these are going to have some form of macro risk. I would argue that the coffee plantation in Brazil is more like the more prominent risks are related to the local, not even the local market, but local, I call it weather and production. And production, of course, could involve plantation's ability to invest in equipment or hire labor. You could say that there's some macro risk associated with FX. So if they're selling, they're obviously they're selling their coffee globally. But I would cross this one out just because I think the coffee plantation is more localized. B, a Swedish mining equipment manufacturer, or C, a call center outsourcing business based in India. Once again, this one here, some macro risk for the call center outsourcing business, um, but not as much as a Swedish mining equipment manufacturer. So the mining, they're going to be selling their equipment globally. Um, their sales are going to be dependent on commodity prices as well as the ability of global companies to invest and expand, and that'll be relying on interest rates. So, you can kind of see there's multiple boxes that are ticked here in when related to macro risk. Next one, which of the following is most likely to have a high level of industry risk? A toll road, not really, like people are just driving on the road. B, pest control services company, not really. Once again, it's not like a cyclical industry. Pests don't care about how the economy's doing. Um, and then C, oil well drilling service company. So once again, yeah, industry risk, and this could be associated with commodity prices. Which of the following is most likely to increase a business's operating leverage? A, reducing prices. B, borrowing rather than issuing equity. It's not this because borrowing debt is related to financial leverage, not operating leverage. C, using casual labor rather than a salary workforce. No, this isn't it either. Um, so we're left with A, reducing prices, which is kind of a weird one, but generally operating leverage, what it does is it measures a company, the sensitivity of a company's profitability to changes in prices or changes in sales volume, etc. Generally, it's associated with having a higher amount of fixed cost. Um, where you can kind of see like if a company has effectively, no variable costs and their entire cost base is fixed, then they're going to have a lot more profitability when demand is high, and they're going to have a lot less profitability if they don't sell anything, right? Like if you compare that to something that's completely variable, if you don't sell anything, you're not going to have any costs, right? So once again, kind of a weird one. Usually the answers are related to fixed costs, but you could have figured this one out just by crossing out the other two. And then finally, which of the following is most likely to increase financial leverage? So here we're worried about how much debt we have. A, cutting prices. Nope. B, replacing short-term debt with long-term debt. Um, no, because debt is still debt. Like if they were saying, uh, they were replacing their short-term debt with long-term debt and anticipating having more debt for the foreseeable future, then it would increase financial leverage. But here we're just kind of trading short-term for long-term with no information related to how much debt, the magnitude of the debt. So we're left with C, and the answer is entering a sale leaseback transaction for the company's head office building. So in a sale leaseback, all you do is you sell your office. In this case, it's an office, could be whatever, real estate. You sell your office, you get the cash, and then you enter into a leaseback transaction with the person who bought it. So from there, you're going to have a monthly lease expense on your books, which, as we went over in the financial statement analysis topic, this is treated as debt.